Welcome back to Venture Onward. Today I plan to talk about the hidden history of Mary Marvel, how the female hero of Shazam is finally taking the limelight. With Shazam 2 and DC's current new champion of Shazam comic, the earliest female spin-off superhero carries a more significant part deserving of her lengthy, meaningful narrative. Shazam 2 hit theaters last weekend like an enchantment thunderbolt from the sky. With the release of the sequel to 2019's jaw-dropper Beat Shazam, it deems beneficial to drill into the tale of Mary Marvel, the first female spin-off superhero, whose design predates that of Supergirl by nearly 2 decades. Initially developed by writer Otto Binder and artist Mark Swayze, Mary Marvel was the third partner of Fawcett Comics' Marvel family. Years previously, the dominance of Marvel Comics, when the publisher of Captain America and the Human Torch was still comprehended as timely, Fawcett had evolved into a significant opposition to DC's gratitude to its community of easygoing occult superheroes. There was, of the period, Billy Batson, a young boy who, by speaking the magical word Shazam, changed him into an older self with an expansive collection of superpowers. However, unlike the reclusive Superman or the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin, Captain Marvel was momentarily enveloped by a complete family of fellow superheroes. First reached Billy's pal Freddy, who could change into Captain Marvel Jr., and then the disclosure of Billy's twin sister Mary. Even Mary Marvel's creators recognized that the star of The Wizard of Oz was the prototype for their character's appearance. Aside from Billy and Freddy, Mary didn't grow older or mainly switch. When she stated her magic remark, she only got a fabulous ensemble and superpowers of her own. Making comic characters resemble well-known people, without actually saying so, made them instantly acceptable to readers, Beck clarified in a portion of the Fawcett Collectors of America newsletter, ultimately contained in the Fawcett Companion. The impact of Mary and the additional Marvel family characters is intertwined via the DNA of contemporary mass culture. Still, the value of their heritage is occasionally covered by the point that DC sued Fawcett out of the industry in the 50s, claiming that Captain Marvel was a copy of Superman. Shockingly, the victorious DC pilfered components from the booming Marvel family comics and included them in Superman's stories, even hiring Binder to labor for his one-time rival. It's funny because Otto Binder, who was one of the main Marvel family writers, would go on to work on Supergirl, and do a lot of the Super Family stuff. Current DC scribe Josie Campbell informs you in a new discussion. There's a lot of crossover between Shazam/Captain Marvel and Superman specifically, because of that. However, in a discussion in the Fawcett Companion, Binder proclaimed, "Mary was my pride and joy." These days, nearly every significant superhero has reached to compare the Marvel family. Superman has a wife and son, while Batman now has multiple Robins that any comic setting in Gotham City must apply the Bat family. Then there's Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, which has joined the titular wall-crawling hero with numerous alternate interpretations, and it's safe to state that without Mary Marvel, there would be no Spider-Gwen. Decades after Fawcett left the business, DC ultimately obtained ownership of the Marvel family characters. While they haven't consistently comprehended what to do with them, which includes the name Marvel now connotes an altogether separate group of superheroes, and Mary, in particular, has felt directionless. And try to contemporize her in the 2007 series Countdown to Final Crisis caught Mary going to the dark side, carrying on a short black outfit and hanging out with evildoers like Black Adam. Years have passed since Mary's initial arrival in pop culture, and her recent comic embodiment contemplates adulthood. But nothing clung. That is until writer Jeff Johns and artist Gary Frank restored Shazam in 2013. Their comic, which became the foundation of the 2019 film, presented new characters, Eugene, Pedro, and Darla. Along with the traditional triad of Billy, Freddy, and Mary, they now form a family of adoptive siblings. In a lot of ways, Mary in the new era is almost exactly flipped from who she was when she started out, Campbell states. Billy would say Shazam, and he'd transform into an adult. Freddy would become Captain Marvel Jr., the ultimate teenager. But Mary would not really transform, she'd get super strength, but she'd just remain a young girl looking like Dorothy of Oz. She was the little sister. But then since Jeff Johns and Gary Frank did their big revamp, it's kind of flipped on its head where she's become the responsible older sister. In a noisy brood of 6 wildly diverse siblings, Mary has evolved into the one everybody can count on. This maturity rises to the recent movie adaptations, where Mary advises Billy about growing up. In the second installment of the Shazam film, her knowledge and morale are mirrored because actress Grace Caroline Curry currently portrays both Mary's human self and her superhero embodiment. Meanwhile, Mary Marvel is taking on a more significant part in the comic industry and DC Comics. After studying Binder's initial Captain Marvel comics for her college theory regarding women's chronology in comics, Campbell ultimately got to compose Mary Marvel in DC's current new Champion of Shazam miniseries, a gem of a 4-part miniseries. As the title implies, this comic catches Mary ultimately taking the central stage. In Billy's absence, she has become the only wielder of the capacity of Shazam. The series sees her juggling that superhero responsibility with the demands of becoming a college freshman. She might not be a genius, but she works hard, Campbell describes to you. She might not be flashy, but she has a plan. She's the one doing the hard work, she's the one who's seeing everything for what it is and putting the pieces together in a way that really separates her from Freddie and Billy. Mary's older now, and she's the one who sees the consequences. She's the one who sees how things fit together. She's the one who sees, if I don't help these people, nobody will. Occasionally it appears inconceivable to refashion old ideas for contemporary artistic contexts. Still, Campbell's script, as well as craft work by Evan Doc Shaner, who seamlessly combines the tone of classic 40s comics with contemporary aesthetics, shows Mary's applicability to modern culture. Mary and Billy were consistently orphans, and now the part of adoption in their relative dynamic is invariably more necessary just as homelessness is soaring on a national scale. She's the perfect Shazam, the perfect person to take on this mantle, because she's the one who sees the most need for a hero, Campbell states. She's the one who can champion the people who are forgotten, the people who are left behind by everybody else. Because of the foster experience, she's one of those people. She knows what it's like to be thrown away and feel like there's no one to support you. The short version is, she's the hero we need and deserve. Although new Champion of Shazam has concluded its original run, Campbell is undoubtedly enthusiastic about coming back to the character at some time down the pipeline. I would love to do more because I think especially this permutation of Mary, where she's struggling to figure out where she fits in, she's still going to have struggles. I feel like I've barely begun with her. I would love to write more of her and her world. The second film of Shazam is in theaters now. So check it out while you can. Until next time, venture onward.